Okay, now we're live on this one.
But I felt like it was important to like, it's better to keep employees happy than not. But I don't know. I agree though. I do feel like we should have made new hirees like at 10 an hour or 10.50 an hour and keep the current ones the raise up to 11.29 and then cut that 52-week thing in half at least. I agree. That's super old rule.
Yeah, I think Connie's finding us again.
Okay.
All right. So, who would like to start this next part of the negotiations? Anyone, feel free.
So what are we negotiating on?
Are we renegotiating or just talking about it? Oh, it's not.
Yeah, we're renegotiating because it's 2 years later. So yeah, we talked about a lot of these things in the first one, even though we were technically only supposed to cover the wage.
Right.
So either we can just like forget all that or just assume that some of it was reinstated because like we still have the 52-week layoff notice as of 85. Because that's one of the things that we're afraid that you'll take away from us. So
How about let's agree on 9 months?
Oh, sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, that's taken care of.
I think that rule is super, super old. I don't know if you'd find it anywhere. What if we got cut it and gave it a 3-month notice? I still think that is a ton of time. No one gives that much notice. Have you ever heard of a company giving more than 3 months? I mean, I've never even heard of that.
No, honestly, when people want to fire someone, they just do it. So
I'm okay with 6 months.
They are non-union companies, but that just means that we also have higher pays too. I think we have to negotiate more than the 6 months. I think 6 months to get rid of people in a time, if financial crunch happened, it would be hard later not to fire or let people go. I think there's a lot of costs related, but those are my thoughts.
Well, at the same time, you're offering pretty good severance packages for the older employees to encourage them to retire. Because you're hiring, was it like 350 new people every year? And so you're trying to get rid of the older people in the company.
Yeah. Sorry, Aaron, what were you saying? I got pieces of it. They want to keep 12 months of what? Oh, you want to keep 12-month notice? I think that's unheard of. Like, I think that's way unheard of. I think at best 3 to 6 months. I think 6 months is pushing it even. I have never heard of a company doing that, but that's my thought. Because we already upped the pay too, and you have a nicer facility, and it's easier to be productive, right? But you're also getting higher wages, and you're keeping good benefits and with great severance packages. What do you guys think?
What if we stop there then at the 6 months, and does everything else stay the same?
What did the note say? The company wanted more something. 1 second. It was had something hiring and firing. Yeah, you guys aren't bringing up other stuff, so. What do you guys think, Nolan or Nathan? What do you think?
Trolling.
Okay, it looks like 6 months would be fine to me. What do you guys think?
6 months for the layoff? Yeah, that's still plenty of time. I think it's fine.
And the company does want some more distinction. We don't have. We want to encourage seniority layoffs. Like the longer you've been there, the more seniority, you get less chance of being laid off. But we don't want that totally. We want the flexibility to lay off people with high seniority if we see fit, and that goes along with hiring and firing. What do you guys think of that?
Well, that goes along with part of what we talked about with the last one, right?
Yeah,
Like
I think so.
More control over it.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that would be fine, just because, like, if you have someone who's not doing the job they're supposed to, like, you should be able to fire them. So.
Connie, are you okay with 6 months instead of the 9 as a concession for higher wage and kept benefit?
Yep. Yes, I think that sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I guess
They are huge. Yep.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Hey, by the way, Nathan,
Yeah.
I'm opening a Google Doc so we can just kind of write down the notes from this, because we're supposed to come up with a final contract and then send it to the group.
So do you have one started?
Yeah, I'm opening it right now. So I'm going to say the layoff notice down to 6 months. Okay.
And then what was pay? $11.29.
Mm-hmm. We're keeping that, right?
Yep.
Okay. So Aaron's saying the older employees leaving should be voluntary. I agree with that. I think it should be like that other company that we read about. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Just like the idea that we should give people the option and be like, hey, if you retire now, we'll give you this as a severance package, blah, blah, blah. But it still end up being voluntary, rather than just being like, hey, we're having to fire you because seniority, and then give it to them.
As to incentive pay, I know it's important for the union. Also, the management hates it. It sounds like from the readings, they feel like it gets out of control. They don't have control over it. How would you feel if we just did incentive pay then during the holidays? There's a certain set of months, and would that be a good concession?
Would it be like 3 months?
Let's do it 2 months. You have all of November and all of December. There's not really a point in doing January. I mean, it's already gone, so we're just bringing something back, trying to be helpful. And you're also getting October really isn't the holiday. Well, it is a higher buying season, but I mean, incentives are already off the table right now, right? What do you guys think, Nathan?
Yeah, I'd be okay with going 3.
Okay.
October, November, December.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you want to do that then?
That's a quarter, isn't it? So
I mean, yeah, that'll. And is that going to affect Christmas bonuses? Do you want that for the bonus, or would you rather have a steady bonus?
Is there an option for both?
Like if it was my company, I don't know. I mean, I don't have the books in front of me. I wish I knew, but I would worry that a bunch of incentive pay right at Christmas time, unless canned goods are not what people, they're buying them at Thanksgiving, but it's not like produce like clothes and like other things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we could set it at a reasonable Christmas bonus with the option for incentive pay.
What if we did 2 months of incentive pay and the Christmas bonus, like November, December? Would that work?
That sounds fair.
It depends on when their fiscal year ends. Just January 1st. Does that work?
Yeah, I'm just assuming it's January to December.
Like all of November, all of December. Does that make sense?
So the incentive pay, which is what number are we using?
Well, they have the potential to double their income because,
That is a lot.
right, there's base pay plus you can work twice as hard and receive some more. So for that 2-month period, it kind of gives them the option to work harder or do more, or however you want to summarize what it's called, what the incentive pay is.
I think that would work good for employees because that will help them during the holidays and send them to work harder at a time where you probably need to be producing more. But also if we did it just for November and December, it wouldn't be too high of a cost, wouldn't be, it wouldn't be too high for the company. I'm guessing that's a lot of employees. They have thousands of employees, So double pay would be a lot to check out for 3 months, and a bonus. So maybe 2 months and a bonus would be good.
Yeah, at least they have something, because if you remember, they've been used to doing this year round or at least seasonally when they are working. So yeah, good. At least it's something.
The wage costs are soon lower.
And you?
It's true because of the new company, the new plant.
Yeah. Just throwing out a thought. What if we did these incentive pay like October, November, and then the bonus at Christmas? Just because I know, like for my family, my parents like to go Christmas shopping like before November, just because then they're not running into all the crazy people. So I mean, like
one of those people.
Yeah. So I don't know if that would be an idea, like if that would really make too much of a difference or not.
I like that idea a lot. That's a great suggestion, Nolan.
It's a good idea, Nolan. That's a good idea.
Okay, so do we want to do the incentive pay October, November, and then the Christmas bonus?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have wages, and we have incentive. Did we agree on layoff and hiring?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the 6 months instead of the year notification.
And what was it we decided about the hiring?
They get full control over hiring and firing, and they can hire who they need to. It doesn't have to be seniority, and
But they're offered.
But they're also hiring cheaper new people. But I think if everybody else is getting $11.23, I think it should be at least $10 an hour if you're hiring a new employee.
That was one thing I noticed, that in the negotiation that we pressed for, that the new hires would get 11.29, and I can't decide if that would be better for the union or not, because and management agreed to it, which is good because you want to look out for everyone. But if there was the lower rate, one of the things that I noticed in the reading was that there were injuries. They were hiring people that weren't being strong employees. I thought that the 11.29 would bring in stronger new employees, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. It doesn't. And so maybe instead of the 11.29 for new hires, we can put more money in the escrow, or we can put that money toward injuries. I just wanted to find a way. I want to still address work rules, but I also wanted to find a way to where the culture was that it wasn't older employees versus new employees, and then also that the culture was that they could take care of each other, and there could be good training within the facility by the employees, so that everybody's happy, that it kind of goes back to the old way it was functioning without all the new stuff. And I don't know if that goes back to pay or what.
Those are great points. I think that the workers have to be trained. They need to invest money into training, because it's not like new employees can't do great things, and it's not like they're paying terrible, and then they have good benefits. So I just think they need training, lots of it.
Yes, in fact, that's a great way. That's a great place to put the money instead of the 11.29. I want to fight for their higher pay as union, but I'd rather see them come in as good, strong employees. That will take down the injury rate. That will also boost morale, because it's not like the older employees are trying to compensate for what the new employees don't know. So if there's a lower pay brought on pay, and then money put toward training, then I think that's a better balance than a higher pay rate at the beginning.
Maybe they could even put it like in behalf of the workers, maybe even just 11 an hour instead of 20. That 29 cents times an hour times thousands of employees might just do it just fine. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like that.
So 11 an hour for the new hires, and then
Well,
Oops, go ahead, keep going, Kaylin.
no, you're fine, Connie. No, you're fine.
Well, I'm thinking even lower than that. Like, I was thinking 9 or 10, but then I don't want to backfire what we're trying to do as union. So the standard is 8.50, 9.25, whatever. But I really see a value in maybe bringing those new hires on maybe at 10, and then putting $1.29 toward training or something like that. I think that they're going to get a higher quality employee brought in. I think they're going to get a better interaction with employees in general, because the new hires they're already earning more at 10 than the other companies that are paying 8.50, 9.25, and so they're going to have a better feeling. They're going to have a better pride because they're working at Deloitte and Baxter. So anyway, I want to close down on my thoughts on that, but go ahead. Anyone else?
Well, what if new hirees had a new lower rate coming in, brand new ones at 10.25 an hour, and within a year's time, with good behavior and great, maybe they could go up to 11 an hour, and that's how they could meet up. What do you guys think? If they do things.
Use that
That's
money to pay for training.
Yeah, and then they're not high turnover either, too. So that's a good idea.
Yep.
I agree.
Erin, good. Erin, are you okay about that? Did I just blow our plan? She just turned off her camera. Oh no, you came up. Okay, good. I don't know. I'd rather have a better employee that's paid less than an employee that gets paid more and comes around and feels like they need a lot of entitlement. That's going to cause a lot of conflict between the new hires and the old employees, because first of all, they're making the same hourly wage. You know, there's got to be some incentive for the new hires to do better and be better. And maybe union can take responsibility for that, you know? I mean, why shouldn't we better our employees by encouraging them to not have entitlement with a lower wage, I guess. Am I wrong? I may be way off. I don't know.
I think you're almost
just-
right on.
Yeah, I agree.
Erin, I really want to know what you think. I can't read your typing.
She said you're not speaking as a union leader.
I know, isn't that awful? I'm speaking as a law of consecration leader.
Well, at least you can look at different perspectives. That's the good.
Maybe we can focus on morale. Okay, go ahead, keep going.
I don't know. I like the idea of lower pay at the beginning, just to make sure we get the training in. And if I remember right, I saw something about training, or just the idea that they want to be able to do it with the people who have been there for a long time, just so that they get the experience and know like better ways to do things, the safe way to do things, and everything that way.
I'm gonna jump in real fast. For us, from the Baxter point, just a lot of the injuries are happening because it's the older employees who are not adjusting to the new company, to the new machine. It's not the newer
That's true
employees.
too.
Okay, and see, you're right.
Because they're new, they're gonna adjust. This is brand new for them, and it's the older employees who are getting here who are having these injuries. And also, from our standpoint, the union is saying that there's 202 incidents every
100 employees.
injuries per 100 employees, which is extremely exaggerated. That would mean that every employee is like injured twice. And so then our injury rate is not going to decrease if we have the compensations law that, I mean, the employees can file reports and they stay home to recover, and they're being paid for that. So I don't think it has to do with the new employees and the rates that we're paying. It's just the older employees and the compensation.
That's true. Sounds
That's
like
a really good point, Arlie, because I was thinking, I forgot about the new equipment. I was thinking that it was the older employees who were teaching the new employees how to do the work. And then when I saw so many injuries, I'm like, well, you know, there's not that proper training on the job that the older employees would teach the new employees. And so, yeah, I need to step back a little. Good.
well, it sounds like everybody needs training, because we don't want to let go of the training for the younger as well, or the new employees. They're probably more savvy with machinery than the older employees, but perhaps we need to have training for the older employees.
Good thought.
So what are we thinking to agree on? Should we just do lower pay for new employees and to pay and keep the big incentive to retire for the older, and then start cycling through? It's going to take a couple of years to do it.
That's a good idea, Aaron.
Yeah, and get trainers. It's
6 months, in 6 months notice, and 11 an hour, I think, was the other one. Because
So we want to do 11 an hour as the starting for new hires.
11 an hour for current employees, right? We went up to 11 an hour.
11.29.
Well, and then we'd negotiate 11 an hour for more training. Maybe that could be I don't know. What am I getting wrong?
We didn't do anything with the current employees' pay. We were only talking about new hires.
Oh, I see.
Put new hires at like
10.
10 or 10.50, and then
Let's do 10. And then as their seniority goes up, they get maybe 10 cents, and then 10 cents, and then eventually they'll get to the 11.25 with seniority as they work year.
right.
So let's start with 10, and then keep our older employees at 11. Maybe we can take the 29 cents and use that for training them, so they can train the new employees.
Sounds good.
Erin, let's talk about our side really quick. Erin and Nolan, do we feel like we need to push for 1050 or anything like that, or are we good?
Well, I mean, Nathan mentioned 1050, and he's the leader, right? So.
Remember, the more money we have, the better training we can offer.
And you're getting up to the 11 an hour within like a year, you know. It will steadily increase.
Do we bring in a better employee if it's 1050 over 10?
In all honesty, I don't think there's that much of a difference. The same people are going to apply for 20 an hour jobs. Like,
Cool.
it doesn't really matter.
Good. Erin, what's your thoughts?
She said she wants the 1050.
Okay. I do too, actually. But I'm willing to go down to 10 if we could get more work rules, more power with work rules.
How about 10.25? I'm just kidding. Particularly on 10.50, so we can.
Okay, let's
Yeah,
move
I
on.
think 1050. You're gonna get 11 in a year anyway. It doesn't matter.
Good. I wanted to make sure we heard what Erin wanted, so good.
Okay.
Let's do 1050 and let's move on.
Okay, so 1050 for new hires, raises for good behavior, and after however long, and then the 11.29 is still the regular base.
Is that everything? We have to.
Well, it feels like we haven't.
We haven't. Well, like one thing that we mentioned with the like the safety issues is that we wanted to try and get what is it? What's the wording? We wanted to use the equipment and everything at 80% of what we are now, just because we feel like the speed at which we're trying to do everything is contributing to the high injury rates. And so if we slow the process down, then we might be able to prevent more injuries. So that's one thing that we wanted to talk about.
Oh, sorry. Go for it, Nathan.
Oh, sorry. What if we slowed it down for a year or two and then add training and see what the injuries do? Because I think that's the most important thing to look at.
I would be willing to do that too. Maybe we could start at 90% and then see what happens. And then if we need to further go down, because you're adding training as well. What do you think?
What was the percentage you said, Caitlin?
I was thinking maybe 90%, because if you wanted 80, it's a concession for 90 and added training. I mean, 10% is quite a bit in a big facility.
For reading?
You know, at least while everybody learns it.
Is this
Right.
a good place to talk about work rules too? Because a lot of the experienced employees feel like if they had more versatility or self-management on the floor, that they feel like they could do it better than what's being instructed by management. So if there was the slowdown to 90% and then there was some kind of a negotiation on the power with work rules, maybe they could come to a happy medium. And injuries could go down, production could go up. Maybe there's a little bit of finagling that could happen to where they can they can really have a happy number with production rates.
What if instead of not, the management does want full control over the rules? However, what if there was a committee set up in behalf of the employees that could communicate with the and solve problems with the management?
That's
Not like a union, but a committee. I don't know, more flexible.
That's a great idea because it fosters communication. It helps it so that the management can see where the workers are coming from, what was working for them, and that can give management an idea of you know, management wants full power, but they don't understand what the workers are needing or what made them tick so well before.
So does that sound good to everybody?
Erin, do you have something there? It looks like you've got a thought.
I think she's typing.
Okay, good. I guess we're starting to get to know each other pretty well. Okay.
So briefly, are we sticking with the 90% productivity for, was it 1 year or 2 years, as well as more training?
I think it was for the 1 year.
Okay. Does that work for you guys too?
Because like the whole idea is like we want to be safer, so we need to slow down and have the training. Then Nathan mentioned like being able to also see if it affects productivity in a good or bad way. So I think the year would be a nice like trial period to see if it worked, if it didn't. And if it works, then maybe at that point we can like renegotiate and maybe slow it down more, offer more training, or like whatever ends up happening.
It's a good idea.
I don't want to slow things down, but does it take a year? Would we want to negotiate? Oh, I guess we don't negotiate every 6 months. We negotiate every year, 3 years, 5 years. Okay, never mind.
Connie's working for the dark side.
My bad. I just like to see everybody happy. And production, you know, I believe that there's a happy medium somewhere if we talk enough. Maybe that's my problem, is I want to keep it talked out until everybody's happy, but that's what we're doing anyway.
I'm just teasing you.
I like it. You're right. You got me pinned.
These negotiations are supposed to be more cutthroat, I think, because we're supposed to threaten to close the plant, and you guys are supposed to threaten strike. And
yeah.
Well, there was something special that used to happen, and I think it goes back to the history of when the plant started, and then it died when Baxter died, you know, and that happens when companies really care about their people and people really work hard. Like also the work rules have died, so management has decided that they need control, and that's the way businesses work now. There has to be order and things like that. So it used to be that it was more about interactive, and now it's more about structure.
Well, I have to run in a minute. Sorry. Well, it's been an hour. It's just been a while, so my kids are. I'm constantly having to tell them to.
that's pretty much to everything.
Yeah. Let me just quickly go over what I have written down as like our basic ideas, and then if there's anything that I missed, anyone feel free to chime in. So we have the layoff notice. We cut down to 6 months instead of the full year. Like we said before, the management will have full control over hiring and firing. Senior employees will be offered a severance package if they voluntarily retire early. We'll offer $10.50 an hour for new hires, and raises will come with time and good behavior until they hit the $11.29 base pay. And the money we save from not paying new hires the 1129 will go for training. We'll also have a year of 90% production targets, slowing everything down and having the training and that being slowed down, hopefully working together to prevent injuries. We'll also have the incentive pay during October and November, hopefully getting everyone higher pay, getting ready for the holidays, and then also a Christmas bonus.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
So it says the next step in our thing is everyone, when we're done, I guess we're going to have to do it, is read the debrief and end notes. There's probably a quiz on it, but
yeah,
other than that,
there
I
is
think
a
we're
quiz.
done. Okay. But thanks for everyone for coming and for Nolan. Done a lot.
Thank you guys.
Thanks. That was great.
I'm gonna email you guys the paper by tonight, and then I'll have all of Thursday. Yeah, I'll have all of Thursday, and then I'm gonna try to make sure it's set in by Friday morning because I just have a lot going on.
Okay.
Is that okay with everybody?
Sounds great.
Okay, if I don't hear anything, okay.
And who's in charge
Sounds
next
good.
week?
Good question.
Wow, this took forever. Arlie is in charge. Okay. Well, I'll see you guys next week.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right, thanks, Nolan.
Bye.